Yo, it's guys, Sam here, and today I want to talk about this. This is the Kondor Blue base cage with the Canon C70. I've been using this cage for quite a while now. There are some things that I really like about it, but there are also some things that I think can be improved, and today I want to talk about whether you should be picking up this cage for your Canon C70. So quick disclaimer, Kondor Blue did send out this cage for me to try out and play with. However, they didn't ask me to make this review or say anything, so this is going to be my honest opinions. So first things first, the cage itself is made up really of three parts: the bottom plate, the top plate, as well as one more, which is the side plate here, which goes at the side here. The reason why I don't use this is because I find the grip of the C70 a little bit too shallow, so I don't really have confidence if I don't have this hand strap here. And if you put like this side plate here, you can't really fit the really well designed hand grip here, so that's why I don't use the side plate. And obviously the last thing is going to be the top handle, but the top handle is their a universal top handle. You can use it across all their cages, so you can actually use your own top handle if you want to. So there are a few reasons why having like multiple parts on the cage is awesome. The first one is obviously if you don't like one part, you don't have to buy it. You can buy it separately. However, the kit that came with for this one comes with the top, bottom, and the side, as well as the top handle. But if you just wanted the top plate, you could just buy the top plate. You wanted the side plate or the bottom plate, you could just buy that separately. And the other thing that I really like about this is that because of the way of how compact everything is designed, the Canon C70, the fact that this is an open portion here means that you are not blocking your fingers when you are pressing these buttons. The buttons on the C70 are actually way smaller, at least in my opinion, from the other Canon cinema cameras, and so they can be quite difficult to press at times. And so if you have a very flush cage here, your thumb might be pressing against the cage itself and you might not be able to press the buttons properly. So I do like this open design versus a full unibody cage design. So let's take a look at each part individually. We're going to start with the bottom plate. The bottom plate, obviously, as it mentions, it's a bottom plate. I do like that it's very well made and curves very nicely with the curve of the camera. I am a person that really appreciates good design, so I do like this. So obviously the bottom plate does solve the biggest issue that the Canon C70 has at the bottom, and that is it allows you to have a whole bunch of mounting options, and it changes the mounting points at the bottom for your tripod from a horizontal to a vertical line that goes along with the lens. You do have magnets to put your Allen keys. However, I do want to say one thing is that there's supposed to be 2 Allen keys. However, I lost one because I think the magnets on the bottom plate were not strong enough, and as I was shooting, I recall somewhere around my fingers kind of like playing with something, and I think it fell off. So I think that's what happened, so just keep that in mind. I'd rather just have Allen keys off. However, it is very nice because these 2 mounting points for the bottom plate do screw in with an Allen key instead of a screw like most cages do. You also have a very nice HDMI clamp. However, the one thing I don't like about this HDMI clamp is that it's a fixed HDMI clamp, meaning that you can't make it wider or smaller, and this is going to be an issue, and I have found it in certain HDMI cables that I own, and that is the HDMI cable, the head is a bit too thick, so I can't fit it inside this HDMI clamp. I would have liked to see them provide a variable option instead so I can open and close it. However, this is what we have with this cage. So the next thing I want to look at is the side plate. It's not something I want to talk about too much because it's basically just a point that has like multiple mounting points for you. The same thing with the bottom plate that I forgot to mention. They actually have these rubbers right here at the side so that you don't damage your camera, you don't scratch it, which is really awesome. This is really light. This fixed straight to the mounting point of the side grip. It does give you, as I said, a lot of points. However, it's just not something that's very useful to me because I just prefer the side grip. And the last thing I'll look at is the top plate. The top plate is quite useful. There are a lot of points that I think are very interesting. One of my favorites is actually going to be the bubble level. Now, if you have any tripod, most of the time tripods, certain bubble levels are like really not in a place where it's easy for you to see, especially if your tripod is very low. So I do like to see like this bubble level right here. You have a bunch of mounting points all over the cage, at the side, at the top, at the back. It does have an Allen key. It has a NATO rail built in at the front, which is awesome. You can also put like an extra NATO rail or whatever that you want on top. there is a second NATO rail going through the middle. This is really awesome because if you wanted to put the top handle vertical, you can actually do that. And what's really amazing as well is that it also has the grooves that the Canon, the proprietary grooves that the Canon has for their own top handle, so you can actually use the top handle together with this cage as well, and it will be rock solid because it's the exact same one as what you have built in on the camera. At the side, you have two cold shoe mounts, which is really awesome. I would have liked to see more on the side. However, obviously it's because of placement and obviously space, so they couldn't do that. One thing I do like is they actually use the center plane marker for the screw, so you have two screws. You have one screw in the middle that goes straight into the cold shoe, and then you have one small screw to kind of like secure it so it doesn't move around if that ever does happen. And what's even better is that they actually give you a mounting point for that pin, so you're not actually taking it away, you're just relocating it to another side. The downside is, however, if you do put the pin at the side, you can't really use the screw points at the side. The last thing is the mic placement. Now this is the one thing that I don't like about the top part, and that is it actually uses the screws and you can actually put the microphone like that, which is really awesome at first glance. However, because it's a fixed position and you're fixing it with screws, when you're putting it in a bag, if you break down your rig, it's actually going to be quite troublesome because you have to unscrew it all the time, and I don't like that because it's just a pain to remove, and I can't put the camera on the side in my bag if I wanted to. So the way I do it is I just use the what comes in the bag with the Canon C70, and I use it as a removable shock mount that I can just put on the cold shoe here. But other than that, the top plate does work very well. It's very nice, very lightweight. There's a lot of space for you to put stuff. It's just that the microphone placement holder, not really my favorite, and I wish it was somewhere else. Finally, I do want to talk about the top handle, which I think is a fantastic top handle. The great thing about this, it solves one of my biggest gripes with the C70, and that was the lack of record buttons. Yes, you can map out the waveform function 4 button to record. However, you're taking away another function button just to put a record button. I don't like that. But I do like the option now. When I'm holding the camera like this, I can quickly press record straight from the top handle, and it works very well. The timing, there is no lag in between. The way it does is you connect with the 2.5mm jack to the remote port on the camera itself. There's this small S and P. I don't understand what S and P means. Maybe it's like a cinema term I don't understand. To turn it on and off, if you don't want to have the record button function working, you can turn it to P, I think, and then you turn it to S to turn it on. Now my downside is that the button's a little bit too small to actually use your fingers, so you gotta use something thin inside. There's also a point for you to put a whatever accessory that you want. I have another cold shoe mount at the top here. You also have a 15mm rod that you can put in and do whatever that you want, whatever accessories that you might want to add to it. Obviously, it also has two cold shoe mounts, one at the back and one at the front, and it's just littered with like holes all around to put whatever accessories that you want. Really cool thing, it does have these adapters that come straight in the handle itself, so that's really cool. I don't have to buy extra. I do like this top handle. The only negative I would say about this is that it's not the best feeling top handle. It's actually very thin. It's just not very nice to grip. I would have liked to feel or have a much thicker grip on the top handle. The padding, I want to say, it's not padding, it's like plastic. It's very nice. It does grip, it does feel very nice in the hand. You know, there's a lot of grooves for you to like move and stuff to get a nice grip. However, it's just very small and very thin. Doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence when I'm holding the top handle. However, I do think that the benefit of having that record button on the top handle itself is a huge plus, and that's one of the reasons why I still use this top handle. Last thing I do want to say is the color. I wasn't a huge fan of the color at first. I would have liked the black one, but it's kind of growing on me. I like this silver and blue. The main reason why is it does make your camera stand out a little bit more, especially if you have like their cine body cap. Everything, by the way, will be linked down in the description if you want to check it out. But it's very nice that I do like that it just looks a little bit different. It doesn't look like every other black camera out there, so that's really cool. So overall, I do really like this cage. The best part, in my opinion, really is that it doesn't add a lot of weight to the camera. The camera itself is, you know, as I mentioned before, it's light, it's small, and if you add more stuff to it, it really defeats the purpose of having like a small compact camera. It doesn't add any more weight. Everything's built of like a solid aluminum, if I'm not mistaken. There are a few things I do feel like you can see certain manufacturing marks on it. I do wish like it could have been more refined in terms of like the aesthetic look. It's not really a deal breaker. However, when you really look closely, like certain times it's easy to strip the aluminum off the screws if you tighten it a little bit too tight. This tells me that perhaps it's not super amazing build. However, that's just a really small detail and it won't happen a lot. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this Kondor Blue cage. I do like it personally, you know, just the weight, the size and everything. It really does fit the aesthetic that I look the more I use it. But let me know what you think about it. Do you have any other cages for your C70? Are you going to be picking this up? And if you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Once again, links for everything are down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you in the next video.